SandBox is a professional Clash Royale player who is currently number 2 in the entire world on top ladder. He's a good friend of mine and he's been teaching me this Royal Hogs cycle deck for a while now. Today I'm going to be sharing his teachings with all of you, showcasing all the games that got him to number 2 in the world and analyzing them with my own commentary as well. Royal Hogs Earthquake Cycle is one of the best decks in the entire game for all intents and purposes, so if you are looking to pick up one of the best decks in the game to do well on ladder, you've come to the right spot. Now let's get right into game 1, which is going to be up against this Goblin Giant Rune Giant deck, a deck that has been terrorizing the meta recently. So let's talk a bit about the deck construction. SandBox has carefully crafted his deck to do well in the current meta, and so that includes running the Cannoneer Tower Troop because there is so much beatdown, again, especially Rune Giant, Goblin Giant, even Pekka still super strong, so Cannoneer is going to be the Tower Troop of choice in this deck. If you guys are on mid ladder or a bit lower, you can easily just play with Princess Tower because it's a bit more versatile and all-rounded against different matchups. Here the opponent's just spamming, you know, Goblin Machine, Rune Giant at the bridge. This is literally what the game has come to, but with the Queen ability doing a good job, Goblins do very good against the Machine. Ice Spirit freezing it in place as well. That'll be a pretty decent defense considering that it was just a broken Rune Giant push coming down, right? But you'll also notice at the start, SandBox just cycled an Earthquake on the tower. If you don't know what to do with this deck, if you have, say, a cycle that's Delivery, Earthquake, Archer, Queen, Pigs, you don't just go to Pigs at the bridge, you don't just want to, you know, spam and be too aggressive, then you go for the Earthquake cycle. That's actually quite a common play, and you will see that later on in this video across various matches too. But as for how to play this deck in general, it's a very well-rounded cycle deck, so there's lots of different play styles that you can kind of assume with this deck depending on the situation. You can see SandBox goes for a very nice Queen the bridge because doesn't really want to let the opponent just kind of sit there, wait till double. He does want to pressure, and the opponent has to go for the guards and then just kind of ignores this Queen, so that's 2 nice hits. In the other side, the opponent sets up with the Rune Giant in the back. SandBox not allowing that to slide, just goes for the Goblin's bridge, but the opponent's going to ignore the entire Goblin's push, so that's a lot of damage. Look at that placement, guys. Take note of that Goblin's placement to get extra damage on the tower, but now we have an enchanted Goblin Giant, enchanted Goblin Machine, Rune Giant push, but we have a beautiful Evo Ice Spirit coming in clutch to freeze everything, and as you can see, it just melts. Everything literally just melts. That is a perfect defense. Literally 0 damage taken by SandBox there, and that is exactly how you defend with this deck. So you're playing with the Evo Ice Spirit, which is so good at stopping any kind of beatdown push in the game, whether it's Goblin Giant, whether it's Evo Pekka pushes, or even stuff like Golem, maybe Balloon, maybe Lava Hound especially. We're also playing the Evo Cannon, which was recently buffed in the most recent patch, I believe, which was a 10% damage buff to its barrage. Very effective buff. You can see right here, Evo Cannon is going to get a lot of value, just kind of clearing all of those. Some nice splash damage, kind of like a log if you think about it. So we get an Evo Cannon splash, we get the log, we get the delivery, and another Evo Ice Spirit coming down to freeze this, and another delivery. That is the insane power of the 3-card cycle that the Archer Queen affords you. So big component of this deck is the Archer Queen as well. You want to utilize that to have a 3-card cycle, whether it's on offense with Royal Hogs pushes aggressively, or like I said, this deck's very versatile. You can play a bunch of different playstyles and have it work. So right now he's in full defensive mode as SandBox, and just kind of defending with cannons, deliveries, goblins, ice spirits, and rinse and repeat. Another cannon comes down. Here we have enchanted troops on the board, but it all just kind of melts, and that is almost no damage taken again. Just perfect defense and a beautiful King Tower activation on top of that from the Goblin Machine, so take note of that as well. That play is very nice, and now with the King Tower activated, it's pretty much all going to be wrapped up. You'll notice SandBox doesn't really want to just go for aggressive piggies. A lot of the time with this deck, you will get some nice piggies chip, and then you'll just kind of sit and defend perfect for the rest of the game, and that's what SandBox is doing right now, because piggies are a bit of a commitment. You know, they're 5 elixir. Your opponent will get to defend them with, say, guards or hunter in this deck, or even Goblin Machine, and they will get a counter push, so you want to be careful when you go piggies. Now he goes for the piggies in the pre-log, because that's basically a good game. Now it's in triple, he can kind of afford to be more aggressive, and just go for the piggies EQ, cycle back to a new Earthquake if he needs that, and that's going to be a good game. All wrapped up, beautiful win against Rune Giant for the first match. You're going to have plenty of matches against Rune Giant and various other ones, so very well played in game 1. Alright, hopping into our second game here, I'm going to showcase this one against Dominic, the best Lava Hound player in the entire game. As you can see, he finished #1 in the world on ladder last season, so quite literally, by definition, the best lava player in the game, with numerous #1 finishes and widely considered to be one of the greatest of all time with the archetype. And now, I would say Lava Hound's actually kind of a tricky matchup for this deck, because you might be wondering how you're supposed to defend Lava Hound pushes when you literally only have one air card. Well, you will see right here, it all lies in the Archer Queen being the only air card in this deck, and perfect usage of her. You can see right here, SandBox knows he's against Lava Hound, so instead of going Queen on the Skeleton Dragons, he's going to actually go for the logs to go back to the delivery, just go for a delivery on that. Now he goes for the Queen because Dominic goes for a balloon in front of the Skeleton Dragons, but before, you can see he was planning to just go for the delivery and not waste a Queen for no reason, so very nice little control there. Guards come down to take the Queen out and force an ability early, but really nice split piggies. And this is a very important component of this deck as well, guys, split piggies, where various matchups will require you to split your Royal Hogs instead of going for them in the same lane. Many such cases, the easiest one I can give you is a Mega Knight. Obviously, if they have Mega Knight, you don't want to go pigs on the same lane, right? You want to split your piggies and just kind of prevent the opponent from getting a nice value on all of them. So same case here, he knows Dominic's exact deck. Everyone on top ladder kind of knows what's going on. He knows he has Barbarian, so he's going to split the piggies to prevent the barbs from getting too much value. And now he gets a lot of damage in the other side as a result. And also just pressuring with the goblins, and Dominic's kind of afraid to go for a Lava Hound, so just kind of chilling. Already back to the piggies. Delivery at the bridge to be aggressive, and then Dominic's going to go for an eye drag forced out, which SandBox can just go for the Ice Spirit low. Even Queen if he needs to, but might not even need that. I think he might go for the piggies here, yes, with the Ice Spirit. To pressure, knowing that Dominic has no guards, no barbs in cycle, so card cycle tracking, elixir counting, very important concepts for top ladder, of course, and something that SandBox applied very effectively there. Again, pressuring with the goblins, not allowing Lava Hound to come down. On another note, if you guys do enjoy the content, please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying this out, trying to get top ladder special guests, teach you guys the best decks in the game, featuring the best players in the game. So if you guys do enjoy this type of content, please let me know in the comments below, and again, feel free to show some love and support with a like and a subscription. So first, pre-cannon comes down, and the Queen is dead, so this is genuinely very concerning, because he literally has no Archer Queen. How's he going to defend this entire push? Well, nice stalling there, goes for the delivery, but even better, zap by Dominic. Look at that play, guys, zap 1 second before the Lava Hound's about to pop, and so that just means the delivery is going to be entirely missed by SandBox, one of the most classic Lava Hound tricks in the book. But SandBox has the Queen, which means he has a 3-card cycle. Pre-log goblins on the barbs to distract them. Look at the piggies making a path, clearing away, and that's going to be basically a dead set of barbarians, with this Queen ability basically clearing everything out with the help of the delivery. New set of piggies will come down with a pre-log again for the guards. Very well played, and an earthquake to kill the guards too. Evo zap arrows forced out by Dominic there, but this is just looking pretty tough for him, I'd say. He can't really build a push, so you're going to see how SandBox is just going to keep pressuring. Goblins, piggies, bridge, Evo ice, and that's just game. Those are going to connect to the tower. Piggies are so good on offense, and just like that, he's able to win against a pretty difficult Lava Hound matchup against the best lava player in the world. Very well done. Alright, so getting into game number 3 here against another Goblin Giant Rune Giant spammer, and this guy has a #1 in the World Global Tourney finish, #4 in the World Ladder finish, so these are genuinely the best players in the entire world facing off against each other. If you want a spot to watch the best games of the best players facing off each other, if you want to learn how to play this Royal Hogs Earthquake deck, this is literally the best platform to do so. There is no higher stage in Clash Royale to do so other than #2 in the entire world on top ladder. So speaking of Rune Giant, Goblin Giant, this is actually bringing me to the makeup of this deck. I mentioned Cannoneer for the beatdown meta. What I didn't mention was the rest of the deck's construction. So we are playing Evo Cannon, Evo Ice Spirit. Again, Evo Ice Spirit's for defending those huge beatdown pushes. Even after the nerf, it is still pretty effective with the increased damage and stunning stuff twice with that double freeze. Evo Cannon is so good because of the barrage damage being buffed. It's just very effective. And we're actually replacing the Evo Skeletons with the Evo Cannon because Evo Skeletons got a massive nerf and they were not reliable anymore. And they're actually so unreliable to the point that we're switching out the Skeletons to the Goblins overall. The reason for that is because of Rune Giant, Goblin Giant, and Rage. Now, Rune Giant is pretty easily DPS down by goblins. Rage is very good against skeletons, especially Evo skeletons, but it's not good against goblins, especially if they're being tanked for, because goblins will be able to survive a full rage. So if you have, like, say, a delivery plus goblins on a goblin giant, they can go for the rage, and the spears in the goblin giant's back will target the delivery and the recruit instead of the goblins. So even if they rage, they'll be on 1 HP surviving, and they're just very spell resistant. So, you know, everyone in this meta, you can see this guy's deck. He's playing Zap, he's playing Rage. Goblins survive both of those spells, so that's the main reason why people are playing goblins in this deck now, and why you guys should give them a try as well. Now you see the piggies come down, nice pressure, with a hunter to defend, which will do a very good job at defending, but still, it's going to be a lot of pigs damage coming through, almost 1,000 right there. Pretty effective still, and you can just kind of log this hunter, and I didn't know the interaction before, but I do now. If you just log the hunter back, it will actually get full defended by a cannoneer. Very important with this deck, guys, to learn cannoneer interactions. You want to know exactly how much you're going to defend, because I know it's a bit different from Princess Tower. Although, again, like I said, you can play Princess Tower if you would like. So now a very important micro play SandBox is making. Again, you can notice he saved the Evo Ice for this Goblin Giant, Rune Giant push, especially being an Evo Goblin Giant. It's very important. Now, Piggy's very nice pressure while defending. Pre-log to reset the Hunter's attack animation, just kind of buy him more time on offense. That's going to lead to him getting into the damage lead in the left, as well as an ability on the right, forcing out the Evo Zap. Very effective right there, and that's going to be a beautiful push by SandBox. He's also not even done. He goes for the piggies at the bridge, forcing out a machine plus a rage or arrows, or all three of them actually. That is, look at that, guys, just piggies at the bridge, and the opponent has to spend 10 elixir just to not take too much damage, and now his entire elixir advantage is fumbled. Everything is kind of crumbling for the opponent here. SandBox is cycling very rapidly. Goes for a delivery at the bridge into the piggies. I think that is a nice little combo that is an underrated play. I actually never make that play with this deck myself. You know, I've been learning this deck from top ladder players for a while now, and I never go delivery bridge, so SandBox has done that multiple times, so that is something to take note of, guys. Now again, Rune Giant push comes down. Queen's going to come down, then the Evo Ice Spirit will, in fact, jump and freeze everything. Get a nice delivery on the Goblin Giant too, and then just kind of good defense in the left. We have a huge push, actually. Machine, Hunter, Rune Giant. This is the problem, you know. Rune Giant with Hunter is so strong, but you can see that SandBox was able to survive, and he's going to take a bit of damage, but it's honestly fine. He's able to sack damage. That's the concept known as using tower damage as a resource, where if you have a healthy tower, your opponent is pushing in that lane, you can actually ignore the push, or at least some of it, and just full defend the other side, or go into pressure, and you will actually be fine by sacking some tower damage to gain elixir and kind of maintain it. So now back to the Evo Ice is SandBox for that Evo Goblin Giant, and very well defended. Heading into triple with a new set of piggies plus a pre-log again for the Hunter, and also potentially guards. EQ comes down too. Very aggressive by SandBox actually, but I think that might just be enough to win the game. No, he's probably going to have to defend one more push first, yeah. So Ice Spirit comes down, delivery in the right, and he's actually going to go for the piggies instead. Maybe, yeah, he is. So instead of going full defense, guys, he's going to go pressure, because he knows that the opponent here cannot defend those piggies. They're going to rush the tower and take it, so sometimes offense is your best defense. Guys, we have so many great games today. Now I'm showing you one of the most popular decks of the last meta that is still pretty viable on top ladder. This guy, Walter, is always high with this deck. It is the infamous Evo Pekka Evo Goblin Giant deck. So, you know, we have the Rune Giant meta with Rune Giant, Goblin Giant. Then we also have Goblin Giant Pekka that has not gone anywhere. If you guys remember, it was just terrorizing ladder last month, the entire season, as well as the 20-win challenge, one of the most boosted decks in the entire game, in the history of the game. And yeah, I don't like this deck at all, but Cannoneer is going to be so crucial at defending this deck, and it's going to be very helpful. You can see Walter's already BMing off to a great start. Guys, top ladder's full of the absolute utmost sportsmanship and class, I know. But yeah, Walter BMing just goes for a casual Pekka the back. Unpunishable play, by the way. It's going to get level 16 by that chef. Nice cannon to pull everything, then nice delivery on everything will come down as well in a second, I think. Yes, it will. Waited last second to do that, and this queen is still pretty healthy and alive, so we can actually go for the piggies in front of it. No! Queen is actually going to die. That's so unfortunate. I feel like he deserved that to stay alive. Then, you know, he could easily go piggies in front of the queen. That's a very common play with this deck, to just pressure and get a nice queen off. Maybe a second queen ability too on offense. That's very effective too. Nonetheless, though, let's see what happens. Goes for the Goblin's Bridge. So notice, guys, SandBox being very patient. No piggies at the bridge. Goblins at the bridge, knowing the opponent has double Evos in hand. He does not want to give the opponent any kind of elixir advantage here to go off of. So Evo Goblin Giant bridge. Evo Cannon will come down. Notice the placement, barrage placed on the Evo Goblin Giant, and the fish Fisherman. Evil Ice will come down for the Goblin Giant and freeze everything. Goblins 2, 0 damage taken. Very well played by SandBox. He's going to be down a bit of Elixir now, but Walter does have to respond to both sides, you know. He has to respond to the Queen and the Goblins. So Goblinstein will come down, which is also well played because he knew that if he would just went guards, he'd have to go Goblinstein afterwards anyway. So a rare moment of a Pekka Goblin Giant player actually making a comprehensive and genuine real play. That's crazy. But yeah, well played. SandBox are just, you know, easily on ability plus log on the guards. Would have forced out more Elixir. Now we will see the piggies. You guys can see that in double, he comes a bit more alive. And sometimes you have to full defend in single because you don't want to just be down. I've lost many games, let me tell you. SandBox is one of the best players in the world. He will not lose like this. But me, yours truly, still an aspiring piggies player, I lose many games just by going for aggressive piggies in single, being down too much Elixir on their counter push, and getting punished as a result. So learn from my mistakes, guys. Do not go aggressive piggies all the time. Sometimes you really just want to chill. And the benefit of playing goblins instead of skeletons in this deck is you can actually just pressure with goblins at the bridge, and it's actually a very viable pressure play because you have 4 goblins that are going to do over 1,000 damage to the tower if ignored, I think. So nice log cycle, keeping this queen alive. Bad Fisherman by Walter just easily mitigated by the ability of the queen. Nice delivery plus Evo Ice in the left. We'll get some nice goblins in the middle on the right, and then a nice Evo Cannon to get on everything. Another delivery ASAP plus the Ice Spirit plus the goblins. As you can see, goblins are just so good at clearing up, and that's barely any damage taken. So I mean, SandBox is down Elixir. This deck is just a positive Elixir trade farm. It's a positive trade simulator by Walter. It just has all the boosted cards in one deck, and you're basically always guaranteed to be up Elixir any given situation. But SandBox is defending so well, and I will say special shout out to Kennedy. You're doing a great job over here as well. Arrows come down, we'll see another delivery in a second, but goblins first, so that the delivery will just kind of be there after the Pekka's dead, so it can't really like do much. And very nice defense, literally perfect defense is what you guys are watching right now. Now here, very important, look at that, SandBox has piggies in cycle, but guess what, he's not going to go pig, he's going to go full defense. And this is what I was talking about at the start, guys. Earthquake cycle, very important play. Sometimes you want to fix your cycle, you don't go piggies though, you go EQ cycle on their push in the lane that you want to get damage in, and that's going to be very effective too. Notice his effective and efficient cycling too. He's actually back to both Evos right here, so delivery will kill the doctor. Goblins will surround the monster, and then we'll see a nice Evo Ice on the right. A new cannon plus log is actually very well defended, even though that was quite a bit of damage taken by SandBox. That is still the damage lead for him. And now we get a nice Earthquake cycled in the left, and Ice Spirit Goblins for this Goblinstein monster. And that Doctor is basically dead. Look at that double EQ log killing the Doctor, guys. And that's what I was talking about, just spell cycle. But now, the final push of SandBox is to defend. No piggies will be involved. I don't think he's played piggies in like 2 or 3 minutes straight, guys. That is exactly how you're supposed to play this deck. Nice Evo Cannon getting so much value there. Log. Which side will he go? Evo Ice. Evo Ice in the left to control everything. Delivery will have to come down the left as well for that Doctor, I assume. Yes. Evo Gob Giant in the right, though. But we have a new Ice Spirit, a new Cannon, and a new delivery with this Goblin Giant's name on it. And just like that, guys, perfect defense for literally 3, if not 5 minutes straight. Very well played by SandBox. How you destroy the most broken boosted deck in the entire meta. BM coming through, Walter getting what he deserves. Started the BM, SandBox giving it back. They both end with a good game, though. Very well done. Plenty more content from SandBox's push left for you guys. Right here we have another lava game that I wanted to showcase, because I feel like these are the very important games that you should know. You know, you should know how to play against Goblin Giant, how to play against Pekka Goblin Giant, also the Rune Giant variation, and then Lava Hound is very important because, again, you literally only have Archer Queen, and this game, SandBox 2-0'd the opponent, so I really do wonder how he's able to accomplish that, with, again, literally only 1 air card, holding his entire defense together by a thread. Here's a beautiful play. Split piggies with a split goblins earlier. That's so nice, and you can see that Amar here did not have barbs in cycle anyways. Even if he did, he would have had to split them, and so that's just a lot of damage pouring in both lanes for SandBox, about 1,000 in each side. Nice queen coming down for this, but I think if he knew that Amar was going to go for eye drag here, he probably would have gone for the queen on top of the eye drag instead. But here's still very good control. goes for the ability, and then a nice delivery will come down for the Lava Hound pups, as well as the eye drag, and everything is going to be taken care of. Although this is a nice counter push with the barbs about to come down, it looks like. Yeah, barbs do come down. That'll just be a nice defense by SandBox, so, you know, log, and actually forced to defend this entire push with this loon, played in the bypass placements. That's the important cannon placement to counter that. Take note of all of SandBox's placements, guys, both cannon, piggies, archer queen, all his placements. Just take note of all of that. And beautiful usage of the Evo Ice Spirit. If it wasn't for that, I think he would have taken a loon drop, so very effective, saving it and aligning it with what's necessary. Now he knows that Amar has a bad cycle, so I think he can actually go for the piggies if he wants. He'll go goblin split again, more of a safe play, I guess. He's actually not going to go in, he's just going to go for the queen in the back, it looks like, into the lane of the eye drag. So very impressive. Actually still goes for the piggies though, so he's going to get the best of both worlds. You know, nice queen set up to defend, and then a lot of piggies damage pouring in as well. That is so much damage not having barbs anywhere near in cycle, but Lava Hound does come down, and how is SandBox going to defend this? I actually don't know. So delivery number 1 will come down. Ice Spirit will come down. He needs a second delivery, and I don't know how he's going to be able to get that down. Second queen ability, though, does come down for that, so the right side tower is going to go very low, and now a new cannon plus delivery will come down. I don't know how, but SandBox was somehow able to defend that entire push without an archer queen. It was literally a Lava Hound, Skeleton Dragons, balloon push, and no queen need except at the very end, but still very impressive. And look at the damage coming down. Even if SandBox loses one tower, he can easily win the tiebreaker because he literally has both lanes to about 1000 HP. Look at that, nice piggies on the right, log for the guards to reset their attack. Evo Ice plus delivery for this Lava Hound, and the queen is kept alive, and everything just melts. That's actually insane. Loon into the queen must be desperation. Evo Can is going to affect it as well. And now we get the piggies at the bridge, while Amar doesn't even have enough elixir for the barbs to come down in time. And that's going to be absolute destruction, guys. 2-0 against Lava Hound. It's all about perfect defense, perfect offense, perfect pressure moments, perfect defensive tools. Take note of all those plays, and that's how you can destroy Lava Hound. Alright, hopping into game number 6, which is yet another Rune Giant against OP Sam, who, as you can see, is a creator, has a number 1 in the world ladder finish, number 10 in the world 2v2 finish, so obviously a very well-seasoned pro, and you might know him, he's also a fellow content creator like me in the Supercell Creator program. So Piggy's first play, honestly a pretty safe play with this deck. I would say it's about 50% safe. You know, sometimes you'll just get punched really hard like a Mega Knight, that's the worst case. You have to deal with the whole 2 elixir Mega Knight that they're going to spam behind, but otherwise, I would say that Piggy's first play works about half the time, and you can't get punished too hard for them, so don't feel too afraid. If you want to be careful, then better safe than sorry. Just like their goblins, Ice Spirit, EQ, pre-cannon even if you really want, or maybe delivery bridge. But Piggy's first play is a play that I make about half the time as well. I think it does work out. So nice pre-cannon comes down first. You can see that pre-cannons are kind of a very nice initial sequence of this defense. So you'll always see the pre-cannon come down first, then the queen. Usually we'll not see a queen and then a cannon, in a lot of instances at least. And I used to make that mistake, you know. I'd go queen way too early and then cannon late. You actually want the cannon to come down first, and that's a huge push actually that was defended well. So Sam is down elixir from how big of a push he just put together, and SandBox knows that, goes for the queen ability plus log on these guards, and that's going to be basically entire tower down with that counter push. That's insane. So people who play like this, I know you guys in mid ladder, in, you know, the Royal Champion League, people just spam their entire elixir at the bridge in the first 1 minute of the game. With this deck, you can genuinely create amazing positive trades, defend them effectively, and get the nice counter push you're looking for. Take their entire tower in revenge. So just like that, that's literally going to be basically tower down for OP Sam, and SandBox in a perfect spot. We'll see the EQ cycle now because he does not want to waste the Evo Ice. Otherwise, he would gladly go Ice Spirit at the bridge. Goblin Giant comes down again. You will see the cannon first, or Rune Giant rather. You will see the cannon first though, and then something like a queen or an Ice Spirit on top of everything. No piggies necessary. He might have gone piggies before, but now he has the entire tower down. There's literally no need to go piggies. Just focus on this defense. You know, it's a whole Rune Giant Goblin Machine Evo Goblin Giant push. That everything is enchanted. You do not want to mess around with how overpowered that is. So Evo Cannon getting that beautiful barrage on the E-Drag. Ice Spirit will protect the queen, and that's going to be a perfect defense. Literally no damage taken. That's insane. And again, he has this counter push. Split piggies very well played because the left side is very much a threat as well. Sam has to actually full commit to the left side, and that's still all going to die to the queen ability. Very powerful ability. In the meantime, the entire right side crumbles to those 2 piggies, so that's just going to be a beautiful play. Another play I'll teach you guys about is split piggies, 3 on one side, 1 in front of an archer queen. Also very fun play with a counter pushing archer queen that I like to make a lot. And now you guys know basically all the placements. You know, piggies in one lane, piggies split 2-2, or piggies split 3-1, and just like that, perfect defense, perfect single elixir pressure to destroy OP Sam, one of the best players in the game, and that was a beautiful one. Alright, and last but certainly not least, we have Asaph, one of the best players in the entire world, who also has a #1 ladder finish. So as you can see, everyone here is at the peak, and this is the newest log bait deck going around in the meta. Now, a big benefit of Piggy's EQ, if you hate log bait, this deck basically hard counters log bait most of the time. I would say this version is a bit more tricky because you have the Cannoneer, but goblins are actually better than skeletons against log bait. You can, you know, counter a barrel with goblins, you can surround their pushes with goblins, and you also have the double spell of delivery and log being very effective at taking out these spam pushes, and you have a very nice offensive tool, the piggies, that lots of log bait decks kind of struggle against. Now again, Cannoneer is a downside against log bait, but you have so many well-rounded cards in this deck, you know, delivery, log, goblins, that you don't really need to worry about it that much. Here, beautiful play, split piggies plus queen ability. That's another one for the books, guys. Take notes. If you have a queen counter pushing and no piggies available to get down yet, you can go ability and then get your piggies down, and you'll actually still be able to kind of defend the queen by having it go invisible and the piggies tank for the queen, so that's a very nice play. Asaph does defend well, but SandBox defends even better. Literally 0 damage taken. I don't know how he managed that with a delivery of all things, but very impressive for sure. And this recruit will counter push and get 1 stab or force out the Ice Spirit. So very nice. Wall breakers come down, but just another Ice Spirit for SandBox. Will full counter because the Cannoneer is a very strong tower troop. It does one-shot stuff like wall breakers, firecrackers, Evo archers even. So yeah, very effective. Queen for this barrel, knowing that Asaph was going to maybe go for a log or some kind of tricky barrel. Very well done. And that's actually an equal trade. You know, Asaph went goblin barrel plus log. SandBox went queen. That's a 5 for 5. Again, split piggies with 2-2. This time he's going for the 2-2, I guess, because he wants to get even damage in both lanes. But again, you can opt for the 3-1 if you want as well, guys. He'll just ignore the Dark Goblin because he only gets 1 hit on the Cannoneer. And nice EQ for that Skeleton ability. That's going to be another bit of elixir forced out by Asaph. He's still going to take the EQ damage, and SandBox has a nice damage lead to, or elixir lead rather, and damage lead, but nice elixir lead to get into double elixir with. And so this, again, this deck does counter pretty much every log bait variation out there. It's very effective, and so if you guys again hate log bait, it's one of the best decks for you to play. This new version is the one Riley made, I believe, or I forgot who made it, but Riley popularized it. I saw he was streaming with it. I saw he made a few videos on it, and it's the new meta log bait deck. So if you want a nice matchup against the meta log bait decks, which, you know, have the very overpowered Evo Dark Goblin and Evo Barrel still very strong, you can literally just go delivery one side, log one side, or log one side, goblins one side, like very effective. Here, a huge push, path being cleared for those piggies in the left, and that is another 1,000 damage pouring through. Very effective play by SandBox. Notice this placement, guys. Will distract the Dark Goblin while also putting it into targetable range by the Cannoneer. So that's just going to be a very effective little defensive tool, and it's also just going to kind of sit there and prevent Asaph from getting much value because, you know, you don't really want to go into a cannon. So now, very nice, just EQ cycle. You don't want to spam pigs all game, guys. They have pretty good defense for your piggies too. Mainly Skelly King is a great counter to Royal Hogs. Also, he has Dark Goblin plus Log. He has Fire Spirit Goblins. He has a lot of different counters to your Royal Hogs. You don't want to go piggies at random times. You'll see basically every time SandBox has gone piggies, actually, they've been accompanied by this queen behind. He doesn't just go naked piggies randomly. Nice pre-log. I'm trying to predict something. Late goblins will come down for Asaph, but still damage is done. That's a lot of damage coming through. Might even have a second queen ability here. He does, or I don't know if that's the first or second, but still, that's 3 hits on the tower. That is good game. That's just back to another earthquake, and that's going to be game. So very beautiful plays by SandBox for the video. Hope you guys were able to learn something very interesting. Hope my commentary was able to help you out. Again, this is the best deck in the meta, or one of them, played with one of the best players in the entire world. Thank you, SandBox, for your time and coming on.